is what we're talking about there. And then how are you going to actually represent that to the public? And what impression do you want to leave people with? So for us, if you look at our website, the branding is really about we call it Start Here, Go Anywhere. And it's all those stories that we've got in our business about our people who have started often in a part-time capacity while they're a student, on checkouts on the holidays, and going through to our most senior leaders in our business. So that theme runs through our entire website. So I think, being true to who you are is really, really important. Things that you need to think about carefully, and certainly we got wrong, I would say, just some of the design aspects, just making sure that it's very, very easy for people when they want to actually apply for a job, that it's incredibly easy to do so, 1, 2, 3 clicks maximum. And the information, it's the navigation part, which you have to get right. And you can only do that by setting it up right from the start.
So did you have instant success? I mean, just because we'll talk about this as a related question, was it, to get buy-in from those really at the top? What sort of
instant.
You have
yeah. I can honestly say it was instant. It was overnight. So before our careers website went live, we used to have what I would call a talent sourcing problem. We couldn't attract enough people of the right quality into our business. The day the website went live and ever since, that has completely turned around, and we now have a sorting problem, as in, the volumes, and particularly, the last couple of years with the recession, the volumes have been absolutely huge. So now, and what's very exciting, is that we're now able to screen people a lot more thoroughly, or to screen out, actually, and be much more careful about who we're actually, or choosy about who we're bringing into our business. And we've got the luxury of having those choices now that we never had before. So the impact of that is huge.
So just tell us, for some of us who have and with you and I have talked about this in the lead up to this review, some of us with preconceived notions about the warehouse. Let's say, what can you put us right? Because we've spoken about this. What do you think is the preconceived notions, and what are they, if you think there are preconceived notions, and what do you try to do to correct those preconceived notions as a place, as an organisation to work at?
I think, there are a lot of views. I guess so many people are customers of the warehouse, and your impression of what it would be like to work there is the impression that you get as a shopper. So if you don't have a very good experience in a store, then obviously you'd think twice about whether it's a good place to work. But my experience has been it is an absolutely tremendous place to work, and retail is exciting, it's fast, it's fun, it is the most full-on job I've ever had just because of the sheer pace. But, because we're New Zealand owned, it also means that we can do some great stuff. We can try stuff. We're not, we don't have to answer to the States necessarily, or Australia. And, we've got a fantastic CEO and exec team who get what we do, they're passionate about it, they support it, and they fund it. So, from my perspective, it's great.
Okay, so what parts of the senior management explain where the rubber meets the road as far as their participation in talent management or managing your talent? What sort of training or...
Yep. Our CEO, Ian Morris, we're very fortunate because he understands talent, and part of that is, in his career, which has been in retail for a long time, he actually worked in a training department, which has really helped us. But, our executive team has a real responsibility about being advocates of what we do. They are very good role models. So, for example, when we're running some of our leadership programs, they'll come and be teachers on the programs. They love it. The participants love it. When we ask them to participate in talent management activities, like having career conversations with people, they're role models of that. And, and that will help it flow down. It sets a standard and sets expectations for everybody else in the business, which is great.
Hey, just before the question, hello, caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Who is speaking, and what is your question, please?
Look, it's Jane here, Jane Kennelly from Frog Recruitment. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Look, just a really quick call, actually. A genuine question, and first of all, thank you very much indeed for agreeing to be part of Frog Live Radio. But look, Jane, have you explored the idea of moving into informal talent management communication channels internally, such as, we heard about one recently at an international conference called YEMA, and I just wondered whether or not you've got anything like that going on at the warehouse at the moment with the reach of staff right across the country.
Yes and no. So it's an area that we are paying very close attention to, and we are, we've been researching for probably a good year now about, what's the right approach for us to take. We're going very cautiously with this, but we are getting there. And the most exciting thing for us is that, Facebook seems to be working very well as a platform for us. And in the last 6 months, we've gone from having 0 members on our Facebook page to, I think it's up to about 12,500 now. And what's exciting about that is we used it recently with the earthquake in Christchurch. Immediately, on that Saturday, we we added a page to our Facebook site, which was called Earthquake, and our team members and our customers use that as a way of getting information about how we'd fared during the earthquake. And what was brilliant was the executives saw how well it worked, and so now they're wanting to really fast-track the whole use of social media in the organisation. So it's really starting to take off.
It's amazing, actually. In fact, kind of gives you goosebumps to hear that because, it must have been pretty tough on the team down in Christchurch throughout that time. But I've got one more question.
Feedback. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, well done. Good on you. One last question before I let you carry on. Favourite book, anything, if I was going to start talent management and needed to go to a resource that was going to help guide me along the way, is there anything that you could recommend that would be really useful to just start delving into?
That's a good question. I can't think of a really relevant talent management one off the top of my head, except for kind of very kind of strategic ones. Often, a lot of the books are around specific aspects of talent management, so ones around recruitment or branding and how-to kind of things. So I haven't really got a specific example, sorry. Not very helpful.
Hey, thanks, Jane. Thanks very much.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.
Great, Jane. I'm back. Can you hear me? Good.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Now, let's get again to some realities. A key part of your talent management is software. A key part of your do you invest much in software to drive this talent management?
Look, we have just because of our scale. So, we're getting quite sophisticated around some of our talent management processes. We've been doing them for a number of years, and our managers were asking for more. They wanted better access to information, to help them manage their talent. They wanted it in one place. So we've moved to a kind of fully integrated platform, which was the biggest investment ever in HR. But that's because of our scale. Other small organisations have a huge advantage in this area. You don't need to have a big fancy software platform because, as I said, earlier on, actually it's all about what your managers do every day. That is real talent management. You don't need a lot of systems. There are some very basic, simple tools and a lot of quick wins to be had in small organisations as well. And in larger ones, because of the scale, actually, you need a lot more complex systems. But if you have complex systems, the risk is, you disengage your managers.
So what's sort of let's talk first for biggies. Are you one of the only organisations that do you think is invested in the scale of IT?
No, not at all. I mean, I know of a good... there are a lot of large organisations in New Zealand which have put in integrated platforms. There's not a whole lot, and certainly big organisations are moving in that direction, and this is an international trend, not just a New Zealand thing. In fact, we're probably behind, if anything. But certainly there are a number of organisations who have already gone down this path, yes. Okay, so let's just talk about, because we've had a Skype question from Sue in Palmerston North about traps for small organisations and introducing a thorough talent management ethos. Can you just give us those traps and just 4 basic things someone of a staff under 50 could do? Yeah. Okay. Traps would be trying to be too complicated. So whenever things have gone wrong at the warehouse, it's because we've made them too complex. That's absolutely number 1. Number 2 is if you have no appetite from your senior managers for talent management because they can't see the value or the impact, then that makes it very, very difficult. So the way that you get around that is you find those people, we call them advocates, or early adopters. You go and you trial something in their specific department. It works well, and what happens is other people around the business go, oh, what have you got going over there? Can I have some of that too? And that's how we've got, our practices spread through our business. It's really through kind of organic growth and people asking for it, rather than HR pushing it and, kind of ramming it down their throat saying, you've got to do this. Right. And what do you think, just for the last part of this discussion we're having, what do you think is the future for talent management? What are some trends to look for? Social media is probably the most significant trend that I can see, because it is going to impact on every aspect of talent management. So social media and how it applies to attraction, your attraction strategy, how it applies to how you go about recruiting people, how you share information, for learning and development, training. Leadership development. So everywhere you look, social media and its role in staff engagement, driving engagement, is absolutely critical. So, we're treading slowly and carefully, but actually the organisation is starting to ask for it and pushing for it. So we need to, really push through quite hard on that. Right. So just social media, just take us through how it works for you. How did you get your start with it? For people who hear social media a lot bandied about, can you just elaborate a bit more on the realities of it? The realities? What we did is we went to our our IT department and said, we want to have a trial of some of these tools. So we got them to give us access to Facebook and to Twitter, and we just played. And so over time, the last year, we've really tried some different tools, worked out what we think would work for us, and now we're getting together a steering committee, cross-functional steering committee, someone from IS, someone from marketing, someone from online marketing, HR, etc., and we're really forging the way, putting the strategy and direction in place, working out how we're going to educate our team members, and we want to open the whole lot up, which is really exciting. Huge risk with it, but we want to manage those risks. Make it a... So are you, do you use Twitter? Are you on Twitter, Jane? Yes, I am, So my name on Twitter is... Yeah, my address is Kiwi Tahi. Kiwi and Tahi. So Kiwi, one word, Tahi. Yeah, Kiwi Tahi, one word. So that's Kiwi1, is that what it means? Mm-hmm. That's right. Wonderful. Now, and how does your Facebook... Well, tell us about... do you have a Facebook presence? Not really. I'm kind of just working on that, quietly in the background, but really looking at it more from an organisational rather than a personal perspective. I mean, I looked at your Facebook site. There's a warehouse site. It's got 12,500 followers. I mean, That's right. Yeah. So as I said to Jane, that's happened in 6 months. We have done nothing to promote it. But now we are just working out how do we really, we can't manage it, but what we're finding is that, customers are now using it as a channel to ask questions, to complain, which is fine. What is really cool is actually we're finding team members will go on and answer the customers' questions or answer their complaints, which is fantastic. And also, I mean, there's so many different uses for it, and we're just working out, what's the right way, what's the right mix here, and how we use it. What's the opportunity?
Yeah, well, I'm very impressed because they say that the ratio percentage of Facebook sites that have over 10,000 followers is only 10% in the world. So you're
is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. So look, just to wind up, Jane, because you're very interested in trends and modes and what's happening. Yourself, you like Twitter. Who do you follow? Is there anyone you can put us on to?
Oh my goodness, that's a tricky question. I follow quite a few people. I mean, you mentioned Paul Jacobs before.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's a good person to follow if you want, from a recruiter perspective. He's fantastic. Look, there are many, many others. In fact, if people wanted to contact me to ask me who I follow, that's probably a good way to do it rather than try and think of all the names.
So how would they contact you?
Yep.
On your Twitter?
Just email. Or they can tweet me if they're on Twitter, or jane.davis@thewarehouse.
So jane.davis@thewarehouse.
That's it. Yep.
Hey, Jane, thank you so much for your time today. It's been very interesting. And you're obviously doing a tremendous job at the Warehouse, and we wish you all the best for the rest of 2018.
Thank you very much, Mike. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.